So what are the highlights of the third PrepCom? It's the final day today.
So this was the third and last PrepCom to prepare for the anniversary of the NPT next year, which will be 2020. So as usual, the big issues were the issues of disagreement. That is nuclear disarmament, Middle East, North Korea, and Iran.
What has come out of that?
So,
any agreement?
No, there was no agreement. The chair, although this was the mandate of this PrepCom, to produce recommendations for the review conference to help them start their work. But as usual, and as was expected, the differences between the non-aligned African group and the Western group, NATO allies on nuclear disarmament, could not be bridged. Also, last year, the General Assembly took a decision to hold a conference on establishing a zone free of weapons of mass destruction in November this year. So most Western countries abstained. So they were also not very supportive of that. Then we have the issue of denuclearization of North Korea. And again, there were some strong statements. But China said that the NPT was not the forum to deal with North Korea. It should be dealt with in a different forum. Then the United States has stopped the implementation of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action of the Iran deal. So the European states supported the continuation of the Iran deal, and they supported Iran's abiding by the deal.
Was it an important issue?
This was an important issue, yes. So the U.S. Was in a sense alone in criticizing the JCPOA. And then Syria was also an issue. The US and several other countries accused that Syria was in non-compliance with the Non-Proliferation Treaty because some years ago it was supposed to be building a reactor that was bombed by the Israelis. So these were the main areas of disagreement. And so this was not a surprise. It would have been a surprise. It would have been a surprise if we had managed to have an agreed outcome document.
That means every positive thing that happens, one shouldn't expect from such conferences.
Well,
because the menus of different parties are different.
Yeah, but it really reflects the current deterioration in the international security situation and the deterioration in relations between the United States and Russia, and also between several other countries and then the Middle East itself. The Arab states are divided amongst themselves as well. So pretty much everywhere the international situation at this moment is not conducive to reaching agreements in multilateral forums.
Now, of course, there's a decision of the UN General Assembly that this conference in the Middle East, WMD free and nuclear weapons free, will take place in November here at the UN. But it seems that the United States does not want to have this conference. Is that correct?
So my understanding is that the UN Office for Disarmament Affairs, on behalf of the Secretary General, is beginning the preparations to hold this conference according to the mandate of the decision. I have heard rumors that many or some of the states that did not support this decision would not prefer to have this conference held. So we don't know for sure.
So the states are United States, Israel, and who else,
Yeah, they probably would not attend, but again, it's a little too early to say.
So in view of what has not happened here, where do you see the prospects of NPT review conference next year?
Well, all states supported the treaty itself. They all support that the 50th anniversary of the treaty next year should be marked by a high-level segment to have ministers come on the first 2 or 3 days to voice support for the treaty. Then is the second part, whether they can agree on an outcome document on how to implement the treaty over the next 5 years, 2020 to 2025. That I think would be problematic.
Will be problematic.
Yeah, unless the international situation improves dramatically.
Yeah, only a few days ago, the Iranian foreign minister said that Iran may walk out of the NPT.
Yes, that would be unfortunate, and I don't think it would be in Iran's interest to leave the NPT. The few friends that Iran has, like the French, the Germans, and the European countries who are supporting the JCPOA, it would make it impossible for them to support Iran. And then by leaving the NPT, Iran really doesn't gain anything. It isolates itself.
Was this threat or warning an issue?
No, this was not brought up by anyone.
I see.
Nobody referred to it.
Okay. So the general state of affairs of security relations worldwide is that it is deteriorating,
Yes.
that this old set of rules based on the need for consensus is no longer valid. And does it also mean calling into question the very existence of the United Nations?
Well, yes, one delegation actually complained that they were having difficulty in getting visas. So they said that maybe then the first committee or the UN Disarmament Commission or even the NPT conference should then be moved if delegations have difficulties in getting visas to UN conferences, and they thought that that's not in conformity with the agreement to host the United Nations in New York.
Is it a part of the hosting agreement that the United States can refuse visas to
Well, all the
delegations?
international organizations are based with host state agreements, and the general presumption is that the host state will give visas, but the host state does retain the right to deny visas on national security grounds. So they are interpreted differently in Geneva, Vienna, Nairobi, New York, where you have international organizations.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.